You're not in as good a mood as I am. I promise you. Part of it's the mustache. It's not part of it, it's most of it. Oh, I'm knocking over toys and stuff. Ah, show's out of control. Here we go. Ah, outside, there it is. R8RBEAR! Yeah. Mama Bear. Got it. Oh, let's go. No, really, let's go. I'm like, let's see. No. Trust me, this is a packed show. We have so much to talk about. Woo! Often imitated, never duplicated. Nah, that fool with no hair that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! The Raider Raiders! Much love. Missed you guys. Had business to attend to. Stuff to get done. But stuff done. Bear here. Now we talk it about upgradeths for this Raider Nation. So what's up, everyone? Welcome to the show. I appreciate you all tuning in. I am your host, R8RBEAR, and I am just slowly taking down my music there so that we can now talk and discuss the events of the day and what's going on with the team and how the weather is and how we're all just feeling tonight. And oh yeah, Tradish! R8RBEAR Live! First comment, MVP tonight goes to... Okay, one more. S.A. Big Dog, who I'm sure, normally just goes by D. And if he doesn't, he should. Sup, D? Because then sooner or later, one of the girls will say, what's up, Big D? And you'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm winning it live. Second place, silver medal, Ramiro. Cash flow. Castro.com. Yeah, don't email him at that. You'll get his brother, who's a dirty, name-stealing thief. Third place, my bronze medal goes to the man who thought I would not be prepared for him, but I am. DPC Mount Rushmore himself checks in tonight. David Pell Cliver. DPC, what are you doing in here? You make me look crazy when you win a medal, All right. Honorable mention to Mark, that moji-making son of a gun, Vargas, and the two-time champion, two-belt champion. All right, now let's get back to my other budding rivalry on Facebook. And it gains yet another layer. It gains yet another layer, this budding rivalry, because the number one contender is our winner tonight. The gold medal, Lucky Pace! LP, you sultry singing son of a gun. What are you doing here tonight? You contender, you, messing around and taking the gold medal from the heavyweight champion of the world. Tonight with the silver, Cliver! Carlos Boykins. What's up, Carl? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear, my heavyweight champion, reduced to the silver medal tonight by his budding rival. Oh yeah, nay, I may say a nemesis. Third place by bronze medal goes to he who can do, Mike Henderson. What's up, Hendu? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear. Honorable mention to DK Dustin King. Where you been, DK? I haven't been able to do the old chapow in too long. Miss you, brother. What's up? Welcome to the show. And, of course, my benefactor, Corinna Trujillo, who always reminds me to remind all of you that stars contributed to the show go directly to helping us do great work with charities all over the world, and we really appreciate it. And if you could, consider a subscription to Raider Bear Family Page on Facebook. It's just $5 a month that you can cancel at any time. On YouTube, it's free, so you have no excuse for why you're not following me on YouTube. So, why are you not following me on YouTube? No, don't smile because I put you on I put you on the spot here. Let's get some feedback here. What's going on? It's free. YouTube, just click the thing. I mean, I'm not trying to become Mr. Beast or anything. I just want to have a little presence on YouTube. Just a wee little presence on YouTube. Joe Holman, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you tuning in. Kevin Kahu Hano. Yeah, Kevin, it's gotten out of control. Mama Bear started to get concerned when it got its own .com. It's true, bearmustache.com. I got to think of a better name for it, though, but, we'll see. Rodney Fuller, what's up? Welcome to the show. Rodney Fuller's the first one to get me tonight. Ellis Irving, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Rodney Fuller got timing, got jokes. Jeff Poindexter, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you tuning in. This season can't start soon enough. I'm so ready to see this team in action. Yeah, Rodney, honestly, I'm excited too because to real football people like myself, and when I say that, I'm not saying that anyone that's watching my show is not real football people. I just simply mean that you're the type of football people that kind of obsess about the team, obsess about the roster, and some of the play. Okay, you're all football people. But Raider Dick Dastardly. Lucky the only reason you didn't win was because Rodney typed faster. That was good too. Carlos Boykin says, why you growing that Captain Crunch mustache? I'm digging it, man. Solid draft, cautiously optimistic about what our offense can do. Keith Armbruster, always with the good comments. Welcome to the show, brother. Jesse Parker, my fashion designer. What's up, JP? Welcome to the show. And Keith, great profile picture. Nice bike. I would say this to you. I am cautiously optimistic too. But when we say cautiously optimistic, it makes some other Raider fans maybe who are absolutely optimistic, kind of cringy because they're saying, come on, get on board. See, people like Keith and myself are just reserving our excitement for seeing how they put the pieces on the field. Even if that just means in training camp. We don't have to necessarily see it in the game. If we can see it in training camp and then see it in the preseason, then, we can get kind of an idea. Hey, look, this team, has got their stuff together. Now, I like the fact that so much work was done in the trenches. So much work was done in getting those big, burly, furniture-moving brothers that are just going to come right in and say no and shut things down and allow your quarterback, allow your running back, allow your wide receiver and tight end to make their moves, run their routes, and get their yards. And I'm ecstatic about the fact that they did this the way they did. I thought it was brilliant. Now, obviously, I've already had a few people say, well, but Bear, what about this? And Bear, what about that? Okay, now the reason why I'm unwilling to engage with people who say, well, what shouldn't we have done this with that pick? Or shouldn't we have done this with that pick? Drafts are organic. All of us know that. Drafts are organic. Okay, so there may be someone you're super interested in that you think is going to be available in the fourth. They get taken mid-third, and then you have to adjust. So now when that adjustment comes, they may have to pick someone who you may, as a fan, not necessarily agree with them picking where they pick them, but they're the better pick in the moment. For example, let's just start from jump, okay? Ashton Genty, done. There's really nothing to say. You brought in the most impactful athlete that's probably coming out of this draft. Among every quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, this will probably be the most impactful player that comes out of this draft. Now, having said that, if he's even half as good, okay, as Josh Jacobs, we're going to fall in love with the guy. I think he has a chance to be a little better. Now, I want to be clear. Once a Raider, always a Raider. And I want to make absolute respect to Josh Jacobs, even in the event he might see this, because God's honest truth, he has watched my show before. I love Josh Jacobs, still love him. Good luck in Green Bay. If you go into free agency, once a Raider, always a Raider. But Ashton Genty has a chance to be better because he has that explosive speed. Now, was Josh Jacob probably a little better with his eyes, seeing holes, turning his body, making himself into a wet bar of soap so you can't grab him? You know what I mean? Does Genty have that? We have yet to see that. Even in all of his college highlights, you don't really see that part of his package yet. Most of his package involves him being a banger, being able to make guys miss, spin moves, straight arms, etc., but I haven't quite seen that yet from him. So we'll see if he's got that in his bag. If he does, he's going to be amazing. But I just want to see him get the ball and get to work. I think he's going to be great, though. Now, Jack Besh. I just want to go in on Jack Besh for a second. Combat catch guy, super tough. In all of his interviews, he talks about the fact that he rages. He rages against defenses. It's not just, I hope to catch a ball, or I'm going to try to run this route right. He does those things, but in his mind, he's thinking like a Sherman tank. And he wants to either run over, or go through a guy. And when have you ever heard a wide receiver talk like that? I mean, maybe when they get in the NFL, they might talk like that, but before they get into the NFL, and usually it's tight ends, running backs that talk about blowing a hole in your chest. This is a wide receiver doing it. And if you haven't seen him, he can do it. He's a big boy. He looks like, again, like the Darren Waller kind of built like a tight end playing wide receiver, but has good speed, not, elite speed, but speed that will get him open. He knows how to use his feet. Think of it like a cross between Terrell Owens and Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow's feet and ability to get open, but with Terrell Owens' big muscular frame that's going to protect the ball from opposing defenders. They're not going to be able to slap at him because he's going to be too strong for that. I love Jeff Besh. It's absolutely beautiful pick. Now, for everyone, I just want to say real quick, one last thing. Jeff Besh, it's Besh, B-E-S-H. Now, that's not how it's spelled. That's how it's pronounced. Besh. So it's not Beck or Betch or anything like that. It's Besh, like you're saying like best with an H. Besh. Okay, so then moving forward, Darian Porter. Most people had Darian Porter as a late first, mid-second round defensive back. So for us to get him in the third, tremendous. Can't say enough. Runs a 4.30 flat. A 4.30 40, which is hiccup, blink, and he's done. So obviously speed's not everything, but it's pretty darn important when you're a defensive back and you're going to want guys to be shutting down these people. Any one of our picks you might have questions about, feel free to hit me with them as I go. I'm going to go ahead and just keep going a little bit fast, and then I'll go over your questions, and we'll address everything we want to know about these guys. Caleb Rogers, that's the big offensive lineman we got from Texas Tech. Super excited about him. That was again another third round pick. I thought that was beautiful. You're getting another guy that can go in there and do big things for us. Oh no, sorry, O lineman, Caleb Rogers. I had my guys mixed up there. Yeah, and there's Charles Grant, our tackle. Okay, so offensive line, Caleb Rogers, big guy, very physical. I was surprised to see him there in the third. And then again in the third, these are the two picks that we used when we traded back. I thought that was brilliant. You go back to back on the big men. You bring in Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant, and you beef up the offensive line. Then first thing out of the fourth round is Dante Thornton Jr., wide receiver, Tennessee, big, tall guy. I like what we're doing here. Are you noticing this? Jeff Besh, then this kid Dante Thornton, bigger wide receivers. Not exactly the fastest guys, but physical guys. And now with Jacoby Meyer, you've got three wide receivers that are big, smart, fast wide receivers. Again, not Olympic speed on any of these guys, but a physical presence with good route running and good play calling. These guys are going to devastate a lot of defenses. Okay, then next pick was Tonka Hemingway, another fourth round pick. Now, Tonka Hemingway, I got him mixed up with Caleb Rogers in the defensive tackle, offensive tackle. Because Caleb Rogers is our offensive line. Tonka Hemingway, defensive tackle, South Carolina. Now, I like him, plug kind of guy, a lot of speed, a lot of power. I don't know if maybe that isn't where maybe we should have looked, though, at Shedeur Sanders. Once he'd fall into the fourth round, to me, is Tonka Hemingway going to have the contribution that a Shedeur Sanders might have had, say, if Geno Smith goes down, and in training camp, if Shedeur looks really good, hey, cut him loose, let him get some air, let him get some time, but we'll never know. But with that being said, I really do like the Tonka Hemingway pick. I really do. Now, this next one I like even more, even though it's a sixth-round pick, J.J. Pegas. Now, J.J. Pegas was one of those guys, and I always love this. I've told you guys 100 times about this. I love it when scouts come together and quietly pick their dark horse, and then they notice that almost all of them pick the same guy, and then they report that. That's the guy, J.J. Pegas. Just a thumper, a guy in the middle that just disrupts, like on every third or fourth play, he's hitting you with something. The guy is one of those low-gravity, big-butt guys that's light on his feet. Almost, I'm not exaggerating, almost like a ballet dancer. Watch his highlights after the show. J.J. Pegas, the spin moves. Watch the spin moves. He has that timing where right when he feels his body touch theirs, he just hits it with no hesitation. He doesn't try to fake it and then spin another way. He completely commits. And man, he was whirling past guys and throwing quarterbacks into the ground. I was impressed. And again, a universal pick by the scouts. J.J. Pegas, dark horse guy, wherever he ended up, he was going to be a star. Looks like we're going to find out. Then we went off the board with our first quarterback, round 6, Montana State's Tommy Mellett. Now, quick thing, Tommy Mellett is a winner and a champion. He put up video game numbers at his school. Tommy Mellett is going to be for real on this squad. Now, he's no threat to Geno Smith as yet, but once he gets into camp and he gets a chance to move through Chip Kelly's system, and that's where it gets interesting to me. It's not that Geno Smith's not a good quarterback. It's not that he can't command the team. But will he assimilate the offense as quickly as Tommy Mellett? I got to admit, I'm being honest with you. The little bit I found when I was reading about Tommy Mellett is a couple of different coaches said he's cerebral. Now, what can we take from that? What they were saying about him in the article was, plain and simply, he's cerebral in the sense of he studies his opponent. He studies the position players of his opponents. He studies what defensive packages they like to run on third and long and so on and so forth. This guy comes into the Raiders organization with a mind built to say, I want to get better. I want to be coached. Let's do it. Feed me the information and I go spit out wins. So I'd like to see what he can do in training camp because it could be super interesting. Now another quarterback we picked up, Cam Miller, North Dakota State. Now, from what I can see, and I forgot to say this too, Tommy Mellett has got wheels. Wheels. I mean, I don't know what his 40 time is. I could probably find out before the show's over. But Tommy Mellett has got wheels. I saw him come on the side on a play-action motion. They motioned, he play-action, he took the ball, he ran down the line. Guys had an angle on him, and he outran their angle. Now, for those of you who really know football, you know what that means. That means you have elite speed. You startled guys. In other words, guys looked at you, sized you up, and said, okay, I just got to meet him at this spot. And then he outran that spot. And guys were like, whoa, wait a minute, trying to catch up to him, and couldn't. On top of having that greasy speed, he's also got cardio. I was impressed. I was very impressed by Tommy Mellett. I haven't seen enough of Cam Miller yet. I'll probably look at him some more later on, and then I'll give you a little bit more in-depth on Cam Miller. I like the build, though. I like the fact that he's unafraid to run, and that's what I show you. See, I have seen Cam Miller. I just haven't watched enough of him, and I try to give you guys that quality. I don't watch one highlight video and say, look, this is what he is. I usually will watch as many as I can find, try to catch at least a game or two that he played in college, try to look at a win where he played well and a loss where he played poorly. And although that sounds like a lot, I can usually do it within an hour, you know what I mean, if I sit down and really work in front of the computer. And so I'm going to do that, a little bit more breakdown with Cam Miller. But with Tommy Mellett, already saw it, quick, gets the ball out of his hands fast, and there's no play in his motion. In other words, there's no tapping the ball, there's no moving around with one hand, acting like the hero. He has two hands on the ball from the snap. He runs, pumps the ball with two hands as he's going through his footwork and his motion, and then he just pumps both hands so that he can get fluidly moving. Instead of being at a dead stop and looking around and then raising his hand and going, he moves his hands the same way he moves his feet. He just keeps active and then comes up with the hand and goes. No indicator, no play in like poker where you give a tell that shows what you're going to do. He's really good about that. Corinna! True. Hello! One of my favorite Raiderettes in the whole wide world. Bob Standard, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Another good friend of mine. Oh, you're bowling. Right on. Well, have a good game, brother. Joey Rivera, good evening, Raider Bear. What's up, Joey? Welcome to the show. Hope you're enjoying yourself. And if you are, consider a subscription to Raider Bear family page. And remember, on YouTube, it's free. Come on, click that YouTube for me. We finally got a coach who knows how to use what he has. Jesse, if it's not a .com, it should be. And just put my face on it. I'm in. We finally got a coach who knows how to use what he has. Tony, and a guy in SpyTech. I enjoyed that draft, guys. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed that draft. And here's why. The last guy, Cody Lindenberg. Look, I'm just going to say this as bluntly as I know how. Okay? Our dead last pick, Cody Lindenberg. I want to be very clear. This is not going to just be a special teams linebacker. He's not going to just try to hold on with the roster as a whatever. No. He is going to make this team, and he's going to thump heads. And if you think that he looks like and probably will produce like the guy we just had in Robert Spillane, ditto. This guy is a cookie cutter, Robert Spillane. Now, the difference between linebackers that we've brought in the middle in the past, we've never really sat down and put all 10 toes, stick our foot in it on one of these linebackers. Even when they played well for us, we kept Perry Riley Jr. played well 2 years, we let him go. Navarro Bowman played 2 years well, we let him go. On and on and on. But I think that this kid will hit and he will stick. Now, I don't think he's just going to walk right onto the field and start. I'm not saying he's that good, but I am saying that physical presence, once he gets on this defense on the field and he learns where he's supposed to be, we're going to start mistaking him for Robert Spillane. They look very similar builds, similar play style. See ball, hit ball. You know what I mean? It's not a lot of confusion to it. He's not interested in a lot of big interceptions. He's not going to be dropping back in a lot of pass coverages. He's there to knock the ball down. So, I'm excited to see what this kid does. I think Corey Cody Lindenberg, Minnesota. Got a good feeling about. I just got a good feeling about that pick. Heather Mendez, what's up, girl? Welcome to the show. Always welcome to our Raiderettes. Bear, are you going to let the mustache grow till we win a playoff game? I can honestly say that because I'm not taking it off anytime soon, so yeah. We stole a player that the 40 Winers wanted in the draft. Yes, and they made a big deal out of it. I was surprised that they let that go. Why would you admit to that? But yeah, they said we swooped right in and took one they wanted. I think he's better than Jacobs. Even he was good. Tony make a dip. I think he does have a chance to be better than Josh Jacobs. I just didn't want to seem disrespectful. But truth is, don't forget, Josh Jacobs, when he was coming out of college, was coming out of a 3-back system where he was the 3rd back. No, I'm not. And you guys, you know me. I'm not trashing the guy. I love Josh Jacobs. Still do. I love his story. I love the heart. You know what I mean? Amazing player. But he really was. We were putting a lot of faith in what was the 3rd guy in the system where he's coming from. And he turned out to be great. I just think Ashton Jeanty has a chance to be amazing. Especially when you consider we're going to have a commitment to the run like we haven't seen in a while with Pete Carroll. Yeah, Bob. He said, I like the wide receiver, Tennessee, 4-3 even. That is fast. That is blazing fast. That's also what our defensive back, Darian Porter, runs. But as far as the wide receiver, you're talking about Dante Thornton, I'm blown away. You got Thornton and Besh. You've got bookend wide receivers that are both big dudes, where all you got to do is get them one-on-one. They don't even have to be open. Just get them one-on-one and throw the ball high, and they're coming down with it. You're talking about 2 guys that have the size, both physically and in height, where they're going to destroy a lot of defensive backs. People are saying Miller is a hidden gem. Sorry, hold on one second. I just had my tab go down. Okay, sorry. People are saying Miller is a hidden gem. James Montiel, you know, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. I'm so impressed with this draft. I'm so impressed with this draft. I mean, you could take any name. Tonka Hemingway, the defensive lineman we picked in, the interior lineman in the 4th, number 135. Every pick has, every pick, there's positives. These guys are winners. Jeff Besh was a 2-sport athlete. He wasn't just great at football. He played baseball, too, and was great at that. I think they won, 2 baseball titles, and, they were great at football. This guy's not just a football player. He is an athlete. And, again, people in the know that 2-sport athletes usually are guys that are hyper athletic. You want those guys on your team because they're the kind of guy that can assimilate any sport. You want me to play tennis? No problem. You want me to play baseball? No problem. Basketball? No problem. Football? You get the point. Jeff Besh, was it Jack or Jeff? I thought it was, Jack. I'm saying it wrong. Jack Besh started at tight end and played for LSU and transferred to TCU. And Mark, I love that guy. I already love that guy. If you listen to his interview, I would ask all of you, listen to his interview. Just go on the Raider site, look at his interview. He is so aggressive. I love this guy, and he's putting all the pressure on himself. When do you see young athletes do that nowadays? Usually they just want to bling and throw up their stuff and say, oh, I'm the man, and I'm so excited to play, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm telling you, Jack Besh came in and said, I'm an animal. I'm going to go out there and destroy people. And I get open. It's not just physical. I don't shove guys around, but I can move my feet. I can get to open spots. But when I get there and I catch that pass, whoever's trying to bring me down is going to get it. It's like, damn. Jack Besh is the bomb. Say big dog. Warriors, right? I'm saying. I like my steak with endive. This ain't no jive. I used to listen to the Jackson 5. Warriors in 5. Warriors in 5. The Rockets are going to fold, and they're going to have an excuse. Their wannabe enforcer's got to miss a game because he got suspended for too many penalties. I noticed that we have height in our secondary like Seattle used to have under Captain Pete. Yes, and he is building that same defense. He likes physical corners that can get into guys, bump them, move them around, slow them out of their routes. You don't always have to have guys that are cover corners. They're harder to find. Whereas if you have a corner that communicates with his other corner, his linebacker, and his safety with hand signals between plays to confuse the offense by letting the defense look like one thing as the play starts and then it morph into something else, as long as you can do that and keep confusing the offense, you have a defense that can move and do things just like the Legion of Boom. The only difference will be we know what the Legion of Boom would be. But before they did it, we didn't know that. They became household names. Richard Sherman became a household name. Cam What's-His-Face became a household name. But a lot of those guys became household names because of the defensive system they were in. It wasn't just them as players. Bobby Wagner probably as a player and Richard Sherman as a player. The rest of them had to kind of do it. I can't remember that defensive lineman they had. He was nice. All the sacks all the time. Came over from the Eagles. Living the life and watching my boy the Bear and playing Helldivers too at the same time. Nice. Hi, honey. Hi, kids. I would say Thornton at 4.3 speed is Olympic speed. Matthew Fagan, I completely agree. I'm just speaking too fast. Anytime you run a 4.3 flat, you're running pretty much Olympic speed. You may not come in first, but you're going to do pretty damn well. Yeah, for Dante Thornton at 6'5" to run a 4.3 is amazing. You don't get it's harder to do when you're as tall as guys like us. I'm 6'3", he's 6'5", I'm 6'3". I never ran a 4.3 flat. I ran a 4.55. I think the best I ever ran was like a 4.48. You know what I mean? I was fast, but not like that. You know what I mean? Kenny Blair! He's enjoying the show. All the way from the land of whiskey and crumpets. Looking out for me from an ocean away, my guy, KB. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Matthew Fagan, what's up? Welcome. Matthew Fagan, what is that? Tenor.com? No, we don't do that. You got to ask to post stuff like that. I didn't see you say, hey, Bear, can I post that? No, did not see that. Travis Kelly, what's up? Welcome to the show. Ryan Robert Bringhurst said Tommy Mellett won't make the roster. It's a bet, Ryan. It's possible. I like him, though. I do. And Cam Miller won't either. I see you. Tommy Touchdown is going to use as a wide receiver gadget player like Edelman or Tessum in New Orleans. Detrick Sorrell. Dietrich, I actually saw that they thought of him as a wide receiver. I like it in the fact of gadget plays. You know what I mean? Because if it's a gadget and he sees something and he wants to throw it, he's going to be able to do it and be accurate because he's an actual quarterback. Corinna, true. Hello. Love you, girl. Ted Thane, Bear, long time, brother. Hope all is doing well. I'm doing great, brother. Thornton Jr. played at Oregon for 2 years and transferred to Tennessee, Bear. Nice. Mauricio Cortez, it was a good draft, especially with Gene T. Yeah, I like that they didn't overthink it. Just pull the trigger. You know what I mean? Just really that we didn't get the Shedeur Sanders. Well, if we had got him really low, though, in the 4th or 5th, I wouldn't have been so, to me, that's a place you do take a look at it. Denton Rhodes, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Seen Josh Jacobs on the pivot. He said he stays in contact with Henry Ruggs, and he's set to be released within the next year, and he believes if given a shot, he'll play ball again. Bear, did we cut all ties with Ruggs? Yes. Or do we still own contract rights over him? No. Jacobs said Ruggs is being allowed to train while incarcerated. Okay, first, I don't have any problem with Henry Ruggs trying to make a comeback. I don't have any problem with that. It's just not going to be with the Raiders. You got to figure it's a PR thing. Now, could it be a positive PR thing if Mark Davis says, "Hey, we loved the kid. He came here. He was working hard, about to become a star, and then he made the biggest mistake of his life. He paid the price for it, both physically and financially. And now let's let the man come back and finish unfinished business. Now, see, if they went about it that way, I could see a PR campaign where Raider Nation would get behind it. I mean, because he was a good kid. He just made a mistake. It was very stupid, okay? I know people who have family members that have been killed by drunk drivers. I have a family member that was killed by a driver. He wasn't drunk, but he'd fallen asleep at the wheel. And I believe in redemption. I believe in second chances. And he didn't just, try to pay and make it go away. He had to go to jail. He had to give up a lot, And to me, I don't think that should be looked at as nothing. You know what I mean? He gave up a lot. If the Raiders wanted to look at him, I would applaud that. They won't, but I would applaud that. Having said that, he probably ends up on another team for sure. I agree it was a great draft. I feel like we will look back on this one. I actually bet on this to win the division. It was one plus 1,800. Go Raiders. Not a boy. It's been a while since we had a solid draft in the media giving the Raiders respect. Yes, that was very impressive. And for Raider Nation fan, it felt good because, like you said, for once, they weren't just bashing our draft or bashing us as a team. They kind of were looking around and going, these are quality picks. I thought Spytek and Coach did a really good job. I really do. If anyone has not seen the story on Jack Besh and his older brother Tiger, who passed away, you need to watch it. What the motivation he gets from his brother and that story, you're absolutely right, Dustin King. It's beautiful. I think that guy is going to tear the football field apart. Jason Polk, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. What up, friend? What did I say about Shedeur Sanders? Put foot in him. Well, the league definitely put that foot in him, but I don't know that means he's not going to be good. We'll see. We got to see now. Although we got to admit, everything is against him. Haven't you noticed almost all of the last few quarterbacks? Okay, the guy that's there now getting accused of all the rape and sexual assault stuff. Then you had Baker Mayfield, who was questionable, whether, blah, 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 stuff off the field. Johnny Mayfield, Johnny Football, had stuff all over off the field. And now this, and it feels almost like the league office calls the Browns and just says, bite the bullet, take the guy. I am not short, Kim. Never short. Trey Tucker has competition. Trey Tucker's in trouble, Bob, because we brought in some dudes. Okay, here's my dumb question for the evening. How soon after the draft do the draftees report for Raider duty? That's camp coming up, honey, and I'll give you the dates and everything in a matter of a couple of days. The city of Vegas won't be on board. James Montiel, I don't know if I agree with that. I do think the city of Vegas will be on board because we'll start winning. Because the only deodorant that fixes things that stink is winning. And so if you lose, you stink. When you win, you don't. And it's just a matter, we got to get that stink off us. And I like the fact that we didn't just draft guys, but we drafted guys. A lot of them, they're coming from winning. You know what I mean? Whether it was at different divisions or not is irrelevant. They're coming from winning. They're used to being one of the guys that made their roster and their locker room, bind to go win it. They come into our locker room knowing what that feels like. Hopefully it spreads around with Pete and his help. And Chip. How did we help Max in the draft? I'll be honest with you. I think that they're trusting Kuntz as far as on the end. And then the guy Tonka Hemingway, who probably has one of the coolest names in all of football. And JJ Pegas, I expect them to make pressures in the middle. I do. Because that's why they were brought in. We already had John Jenkins. We already have Adam Butler. We have guys that can play the run. Now we're trying to bring in young talent that can maybe outplay them because they can get pressures and break down things in the middle of the offensive line. Are you planning on going to any of the games this year? Ted Thane, I don't know that I can. I don't want to get into a long story about it, but it's medical stuff with my family, some older members of my family that just really need my wife and I right now. Steven Shaw! What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I think he meant on board with Ruggs being an option. Yes, I do think that Ruggs coming back, if it's sold properly, would work. You can't just bring him back. I don't want them to do that. I don't want them to just bring him on the roster and bring him to a press conference and just say he's a Raider again and that's it. They've got to talk about what he's been doing, whatever that may be, to sort of rehabilitate his image. We have to hear the team say this is about once a Raider, always a Raider. I want to see Mark Davis come out in his best turtleneck and acid wash jeans. And then go out there and do his best impersonation of the bear, twisting his mustache and say we really want the guy back because he's got unfinished business. Tanamoku said Colton Miller is back at practice. You know, honestly, even though Colton Miller's been around off and on, that kind of thing, he's been wrong for the last 2 years. So really for the last 2 years, the organization has been kind of side-eyeing Colton Miller like, you know, is it maybe time to, you know, like, for example, the tackle we brought in particular, which one was it? Caleb Rogers? Charles Grant. Caleb Rogers is the left tackle that could take the job. Charles Grant played a lot of left tackle, but also played right tackle. I think that Charles Grant is the one we might be looking at to convert into a right tackle, whereas Caleb Rogers, I think, is depth. And then if he plays great and maybe Colton Miller goes down, maybe he becomes the future right then and there. Tom Shepard, I saw that Tonka held the ball in short yardage plays, that kind of thing. I kind of like that better than the tush push. I just feel like if you're going to go for 1 yard and you want to use a gimmick, let your, one of your offensive linemen or defensive linemen that's pretty athletic, get the ball, down low and get a yard for you. I've always said no matter who's running the ball, if your offensive line can't get you 1 yard, just 1 yard, and you guys know sometimes it's not even 1 yard. Sometimes they measure and they only got to go this far. If you can't get that, I don't care what the play is. I don't care what run play is. If you can't get that, you're not going to be a winning team. You got to believe that anytime it comes down to, hey, I only got to get a yard and we get this first down or we get this touchdown, you got to believe you've got at least a play or two in your book that's going to get you that's going to get you home. What does the Raiders do with their $45 million left? Well, Bob, they're going to go into free agency aggressively again, leading up to the season and training camp and so on. They're going to look aggressively in free agency. There's going to be some guys that fall off. And more importantly, we're probably finally going to shore up things at tight end and move on from Michael Mayer. Now, I've been trying diligently. I mean, I've been reaching out to everyone I know, even a handful of people that are with the organization that I kind of tried to pull my beg card. I know how much you love me. Come on, tell the bear. But I can't get any traction on what the business is with Mayer because the Raiders have already made up their mind. Michael Mayer is not going to be a Raider. He's not going to be a Raider. I'm letting you all know now. So if you've seen any reports about, they might trade him or, they might release him, there's no might about it. He's not going to be a Raider. And I personally, I hate it. I love the idea of what him and Brock Bowers could do together. But for some reason, I think it might be something to do with something personal or family or drugs. I don't know. But something's going on with Michael Mayer because the roster has moved on from him completely. Let's see. That boy can jump also. Tom Shepard, okay. Welcome to the show. Rick Samurano. It's my guy right there. Always aloha on the bear. Hi, Island Jen. I like the fact that the kid from South Carolina says he wants to learn from Mad Max. Well, not only does he want to learn, but he's saying, I know what the issue is. We got to unlock Max. Because even with Max locked up, he's still leading the league. And putting foots in fools as one of the best defensive ends in football. Imagine him unlocked, where you can no longer double him and technically triple him, because you can roll a running back to his side. Right when the ball snapped, the running back just shoves him in his shoulder and just gets him to just hesitate a step. And then as he starts to get started again, he's got the right guard and the right tackle double teaming him. You know what I mean? We've got to get traction in the middle. We've got to get traction on the other side so that Max can work. You know what I mean? And it's taken too long already. If we don't get somewhere for Max to work, I would have told you he'd have been already gone. The only reason I believe Max is still here is for his love for the Raiders, but more importantly, because we keep re-upping his cash without making him wait. We just keep saying, hey, you're the star. We know it. We're not going to, drag our feet with this. Here's your extension. You know what I mean? And they'll do it again. There'll be a third one. But by the time they get to that next extension, we better have a playoff win under our belt. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go as far as say a Super Bowl, but he would probably expect at least a player on the opposite side and someone getting us to helping him get us to the playoffs. I saw some video of Ashton Jeanty from Boise State and how he runs. He looks unstoppable. He reminds me of Marshawn Lynch. Jeremy McCary, welcome to the show. Now, the truth is, and I want to be truthful, there are times when Ashton Jeanty does have bad plays because there's times where he looks for cutback lanes when he shouldn't. In other words, the play is blocked perfectly. The play is meant to go left, but he sees something flash and it makes him break right because he thinks the gap's not going to be there. Now, that's the only real drawback I've heard about with him is that there are times when he gets stuffed for a loss or stuffed for like a 1 yard gain, when in reality he only got stuffed because he went away from what was an already well blocked play and actually ran himself into the tackle. Now, I don't necessarily think he's going to bring that to the pros because if you saw what he did in college, he progressively got better at that, and that was lessened and lessened. The oftenness of him making those poor decisions on cutting back when cutting back wasn't necessary. Michael Terminelli, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. They're not going to let Ruggs back into the NFL. They didn't let Rice from Baltimore come back, happen in knocking his girlfriend around. Well, Michael Terminelli, welcome to the show. Look at your sons there, champs. Very nice. Now, I would say to you, brother, you couldn't let him back in the league, but what was going on with him and what Ruggs did are totally different. It would be like comparing what Michael Vick did and Ruggs did. They're different. They're both terrible. They're both huge mistakes, but very different. Henry Ruggs can be seen, in my opinion, as an accident of stupidity. I mean, from what I understand, he was going close to 200 miles an hour, if not more. So obviously that's stupid. You're doing it at 3 or 4 in the morning or whatever it was. So, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to be careful to never excuse what he did or even sound like I'm excusing it because I'm not. But I could see the NFL working that back into the league, not beating a woman. And then when you add to it that Rice's problem with Baltimore was Baltimore and the NFL were already ready to bring him back. They had already brought him back to the organization, had him suited up, getting ready for practice and whatnot, and then the video broke of him hitting her, and then that was that. And he was gone like that. I mean, literally like the next day, everything Rice was gone. And it should be. You know what I mean? It should be. Unless you're defending your life, there's never a reason to hit a woman like that. Ever. And don't get me wrong, women can kill you. I mean, women are tough. Don't get me wrong, this stuff about, women aren't as strong as men. That's BS. If a woman wants to kill you, she can do it. I promise you. And having said that, if a woman's trying to kill you, you knock her the hell out. Do whatever you got to do. But when it's over love stuff and arguments, nah, man. You just can't do that. So any of you that are watching my show, if you've ever raised your hand to hit a woman, if you respect me and my show, please consider not doing that. It's just not okay. I've never done it. Ever. Hey, what's Ashton Jeanty's number? Well, I believe it was number 1 in school. I don't know what it's going to be in the NFL yet. And they announced his number 2. I apologize. I remember they did do that. I haven't seen that, though. Oh, hang on. Let's go. Let's try this. I'm going to just do this for you live since the show's almost over. What is Ashton Jeanty's number with the Raiders? Oh, maybe they haven't said yet. Oh, number 6. Okay, number 6. Well, that was with Boise State. I was wrong. I thought it was number 1. However, Ginty's impact won't be just felt in the stage sheet. His leadership traits as the ultimate teammate. Blah 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 blah. The day in sports, Raider jersey number 2 didn't. I'm trying to scheme. I'm scheming sites. No one's saying what his number is. But yeah, I'm seeing Ginty number 1. And they probably just meant in the first round. Oh, look, the first round pick is Ginty. I'm not seeing anything on his number. If one of you sees it, let me know. Reyes Antonio, what's up? Welcome to the show. He was 2 in college. Okay. Colson might sell it to him. Okay, so someone's already got the 2. He'd have to buy it, but okay. I get it. What about Thayer Mumford in the tackle position? No new news of always. Well, with Mumford, Denton Rhodes, great question. Welcome to the show. And I happen to like Thayer Mumford, but I just think that they felt like they hit the ceiling with Thayer Mumford. You know what I mean? There seemed to be some things that he left on the field that they felt like they could get better than Thayer Mumford. Not that he's not good. I just think they might want to get better. Bob, I don't think they would give Ginty 24. I don't think he'd ask for it. Dante Stallworth, Leonard Little, so Ruggs is way more than eligible. Those guys did no time. Yeah, Lucky, like I was saying, I think he's eligible. I just don't think that the Raiders are going to make the move. I think they would let someone else do the reclamation project. Maybe the Browns. It seems to me that's where everyone else goes to rehab their career. Thayer Mumford is gone, Bear. I didn't know that. We already let him go? Okay. I gotta look at our roster releases and whatnot. Let's see here. I've been so in this draft. Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant. That 98 and 99 pick. That might be. I think those guys might be dudes. I think they might both end up. I think 98, 99. Those 2 special picks. I think they're gonna end up being nice. Real nice. Caleb Rogers was a second-team All-Big 12 selection at Texas Tech. He started 55 consecutive games for the Red Raiders, Karma. In 2024, he split snaps between left guard and right tackle. Aha! That's why they want to look at Carlos Rogers there. Let's see. And Grant, and the highest drafted player from William & Mary since 2009. He was a 2-time first-team FCS All-American. Nice. Very nice. Well, okay, we really see Caleb trying to work in on the inside spots guard, and so the chance to get Charles Grant to be the tackle. We'll find out if he can play on both sides. Spytek said after day 2 of the draft was over, he played a lot of left tackle and looked really good doing that. But we're trying to get as much flexibility as we can on the line, and we're going to spread the wealth and let the guys compete. And basically, that's a real nice way of saying he's going to look at Charles Grant, at right tackle. Very exciting. I thought that's very interesting, personally. I think the guy has the athletic skills and could actually end up being able to do this, man. Do this. Okay, so real quick, let me heavy in on that one more time. And, you know, I don't think enough got said about the Darian Porter pick either. I mean, there was more than a handful of people that really liked the Darian Porter pick, that just said quietly the Raiders did something there. You know what I mean? So super excited about that. And then let me read you this about Jack Besh. I read this early and I really liked it. Scouting report strengths: elite catch, focus, and concentration in traffic. Consistently extends away from his frame and snags throws with vice-like hands, even with defenders draped all over him. A master of controlling catch space and uses sophisticated body positioning and timing to box out defenders, much like a power forward playing basketball. Very nice. Okay, now, here's one of the, 2 of the weaknesses. I want to read this out loud. Lacks ideal long speed to consistently separate vertically. Struggled to stack corners who can match his physicality through the stem. Okay, so in other words, when he plays physical defensive backs, he has a little bit of trouble because he doesn't have the elite speed to get off him, and they can hang with his strength. And if they do that, you can get him shut down a little bit. Okay, and then route breaks can be rounded off rather than sharp. Takes extra steps to gear down, which allows defensive backs to stay in the phase. So in other words, he goes 1, 2, 3, 4 before he makes his next cut instead of 1, 2, and then makes his next cut. So there's some things there that make him sound clunky and some things there that make him sound... Wow, that's so bad. There's some things there that make him sound clunky and some things there that make him sound like he's going to be the real deal. All right, that's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force, for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice, active and veteran. Much love. R8RBEAR! We are off tomorrow night, but then we are on the following night. So look for me then. We are off tomorrow night, but we are on the following night. Much love to you all. Consider a subscription to R8RBEAR family page, and I will see you soon. R8RBEAR family page. Peace! So